Hi there and welcome back to our beginner Pilates program. We are on day 3 and we're going to start down on the mat again. So I want you to bring yourself into your tabletop position, hopefully a position you're becoming a little bit familiar with now. Bringing the hands in under the shoulders or just slightly forwards to take a bit of pressure off the wrists, and then the knees underneath the hips. Now, just as we did yesterday, we're going to start with a little bit of cat-cow stretch. So tucking the tailbone underneath, chin into the chest, pulling up through the spine. And again, just relaxing it down, lifting the chin slightly, looking forwards. And again, bringing the tummy in, chin into the chest. Now, if you want to add a little breath to this movement, we would breathe in as we allow the tummy to relax, the back to arch. And as we breathe out, we would pull the tummy in, chin into the chest, and lift up through the spine. Good, well done. Let's just take one more. Good, well done. And then let's hold ourselves in tabletop. Now we're going to slide the left leg back. I want you to tuck the toes underneath so you have a stable base from which to move. And then we're going to take the right arm up and we're going to open up into the chest. And then we're going to come all the way back down. We're going to switch sides. And again, we're going to tuck the toes underneath. And again, we're going to open up the other side. Now, if you haven't really done much movement yet today and you're feeling a little bit stiff, don't feel that you need to push the stretch. Just move to that comfortable point of resistance. And then maybe with each repetition, you'll start to get a little bit more mobility and movement through the upper back and the chest. Good, well done. So just taking your time here, moving from side to side. You don't need to match my pace. Just giving yourself that time to really move through the upper body, opening up. Good, well done. And then from here, we're just going to bring the knees back onto the mat and sit the hips back into a child's pose or shell stretch. Now, if you're somebody that finds that this position triggers a little bit of cramp, then a little tip is to just keep the toes tucked underneath. So as you push back here, it just tends not to trigger that crampy feeling that we can get in the feet. Good, so just relaxing it down here. We're going to press down with the arms just to stretch into the shoulders. And then we're going to push the right hand into the mat, stretching a little bit more down the right side of the body. And again, we're going to push the left hand down, stretching a little bit more down the left. We're just going to keep shifting from side to side, lengthening and stretching along the waist. Good, well done. Good, and then from here, just a little stretch from the hips. We're going to slide the knees out towards the edges of the mat, keeping the feet close together. And then we're just going to take the arms a little further forwards. Now, if you have a thin mat, just be careful of the knees here. Make sure that they're not going to bruise. And then from here, we're just going to roll it forwards. And as you come forwards here, I just want you to try and let the hips drop and the chest lift forwards. Now try and keep the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we're just going to push back, keep the hands where they are. So we've got a little marker. Just fully lengthen the arms again, press down gently just to stretch further down into the mid back. And again, we just roll forward to try and relax the hips down. And again, push back. Now, if you're quite tight in the hips, this might not be as easy as I'm making it out to be, but just go move within your comfortable range of motion. Now again here, we can deepen the stretch a little bit more into the hips. So as you come forwards here, just let the feet lift. Now this is where we just need to watch those knees if you're on a hard surface. And again, push back. Good, coming forwards, letting the feet lift. If you want to add that little deeper stretch for the hips. We're just going to take one more here, one more. Good, well done. And then we'll just bring everything back and we're going to make our way over onto our right side, for our first exercise. Now, this exercise is a mobility exercise for the hip. It will also challenge your core and the muscles in your bottom as well. So we're going to come down here and we're going to bring the whole of the arm down. Now, if this isn't particularly comfortable, you can come all the way down. It really is whatever is comfortable for you. And then left hand down in front of the chest, and we're going to keep a soft bend in the bottom knee as we extend the top leg away. Now we're going to lift the leg up nice and high. Now we want to try and use our core here to keep the torso nice and still. So we're going to take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to circle. Now as we bring that leg back, we're going to take a breath in, and then as we bring it forwards. So if we move the leg half a circle per breath, it helps to keep the movement a little bit slower. Now you might feel, particularly as you pull the leg back here, that the body wants to roll back. So try and just keep this torso nice and still. You've got this left hand down in front. Try not to let the body roll around. Now we're going to take it the other way, exactly the same. Keeping the body nice and still. Now, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, there are a couple of things we can do. Challenging your core specifically, we can bring the left hand off the mat. You can take it up towards the ceiling or rest it here, whatever you prefer. And you can also come up here onto the elbow. So obviously with the waist off the floor, this is going to make it a little bit more challenging. Good, well done. 2 more. Good, well done. And then just rest it down. And if you feel a little bit of tension here in the glutes, just step the leg back and deactivate the glutes here just to loosen off. Good, now we're going to make our way up onto the forearm. We're going to bring the elbow under the shoulder, and we're going to have the knees forwards again, the heels back. Now again, this is another exercise for the core and also for the upper back of the shoulder. Now we're going to start by lifting out of the waist, so we're not sunk into the shoulder, and we're going to take the left arm up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we're going to push the arm underneath, looking at the hand as it comes underneath the arm. And then as we breathe in, we're going to lift and we're going to open up. So again, as we breathe out, we're going to push the arm through. And again, as we breathe in, we're going to open out. Now, if you want to make this a little more challenging for the core, as you bring the arm up here, you're going to push through the knees and you're going to lift your hips away. Then you're going to lower your hips and you're going to push the arm back through. So we open up, we lift the hips, we lower the hips, and then we come through. Good, well done. It starts to get a little bit stressy for the shoulder. You might feel that the shoulder is starting to ache a little bit. This is a common challenge for this exercise, and it's just because the muscles in the shoulder are quite small and are not used to taking your weight in this way. So over time, this does get a little bit easier. Good, well done. So if this shoulder has given you a little bit of an ache, come up, just have a little circle through the shoulder, loosen off. Good, well done. And then from here, we're going to make our way over to the other side. We're going to do the same on this side. So we started down here with our head in our hand, right hand down in front of the chest, bottom knee bent forwards, top leg out straight, lift it up nice and high. And again, as we take a breath in, we start to circle the leg forwards. And then as we breathe out, we take it back and up, moving through the hip. Nice, reasonable size circles. So they're not too small, but they're not so big that we've got the hips and the pelvis rocking around. They're nice and controlled. Upper body is still. And again, as I said on the other side, if you want to challenge your core a little bit here, you can take the arm off, or you can come up here onto your elbow. Your waist is then off the mat, which means it's going to have to work to keep you balanced as you move through the hip. So again, let's start to take this back the other way. So again, we're taking the leg forwards, back, up and down, keeping the upper body still and under control, trying to maintain a little bit of rhythm to your breath if you can. So here I'm breathing in for half a circle, out for half a circle. But as I said, if the breath confuses you, don't worry, just breathe. Good, well done. And then let's rest the leg down, give it a little back. Good, just loosen off. And again, we come up here onto the forearm, into our sideline thread the needle, working into the back and into the core. So again, we've got the knees forwards, the heels are back in line with the bottom. We lift it out of the waist here as we take that right arm up. We take a breath in. And again, as we breathe out, we're gonna push the arm through. Again, breathing in, we're gonna lift, open up, look up at the hand. Again, as we breathe out, we push the arm through. Again, as we breathe in, we open up. Now again, if you remember on the other side, we can make this a bit more challenging for the core. As the arm comes up over the shoulder, we push through the knees, lift the hips away from the floor, lower the hips down, nice and slow with control, and then push the arm back underneath. So really try to control that lower down phase. You can feel gravity wanting to pull those hips back down, the weight of your body pulling those hips back down. Trying to control the lower down phase will help to strengthen your core. Good, well done. Last one, and then we'll loosen off into that shoulder. Good, well done. Come up, and again, just give the shoulder a little circle, loosening off. Good, well done. Now we're gonna come round and we've got one more exercise to go through, and I'm gonna take you through plank. Now, a lot of people feel very intimidated by the prospect of doing the plank, and it is a challenging exercise, but we're going to start at beginner level so you have options to progress. I'm just going to adjust my mic here. So we're going to start down in tabletop. Now, from here, I want you to take your hand another hand's distance further forwards, and then shift your hips to bring your shoulders back over the wrists. And this should roughly bring you into a low plank position. Now, you should already feel your core working. You might need to adjust yourself a little here, but if you can see, I'm just gonna shuffle a little back on my mat. If you can see here that in my low plank, my hips my tailbone is slightly tucked underneath, so I'm not here. Yeah, you can see here I've let my hips completely relax to the floor. So I'm using my core to control my hips and stop them from just relaxing down. So the back is nice and straight. Equally, I'm not sunken into the shoulders. I'm lifted out of the upper back. Now you might find that your wrists get a little bit sore doing this. So what I would suggest, if we come back here, so wherever your hands are, keep them there so that you've got a marker, and just sit the hips back, just to take that pressure off the wrists. And then we take a little breath in here. And then as we breathe out, we're gonna come forwards and we're gonna hold. Again, we're gonna take a breath in, breathe out. So we're holding for one breath, then we take a breath in, push all the way back, and relax. Again, breathing in, we come forwards, we find that optimal position. Breathing out, we hold. Again, we take another breath in. Breathing out, we hold. Breathe in, we push back. So this is your beginner level. And at any point you can come all the way back here into your resting position, loosen off into your wrists. Now, of course, the plank is done traditionally with the legs fully extended. So I will talk you through that. Again, if you're going to be taking full plank, we normally start from tabletop and we step back into full plank from here. So again, hands always very slightly further forward to the shoulders, lift it up out of the upper back. We have that tailbone slightly tucked underneath here straight away. We take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we slide the right leg back, we slide the left leg back. Now, when you find your plank position here, you've got the toes obviously tucked underneath. Push back with your heels. This activates your legs. Now, if the legs are active, this helps to hold our plank stronger. Again, the hips are in line with the shoulders. We're lifted out of the upper back. So we're strong all the way from the neck down to the heels. Again, we hold for breath. Now, the easiest way to lower down from a plank is one knee at a time. And again, we push back and we relax. Let's have one more go at that full plank. Start in your tabletop. Now, just as we did for modified, we take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we step back. Again, we hold for a breath in. Again, we breathe out. Breath in, lower the knees, breathe out, sit back. Good, well done. So the important thing to remember with plank, and as with any exercise that you do, is to work at the right level for you. It's very hard to know sometimes whether your body is in the right position, so it can be useful if you can do this in front of a mirror or get somebody to observe you, to give you some feedback. Although people think that mirrors are in a gym for vanity, they are genuinely there so that people can observe their form and make sure that the exercises that they're doing are technically correct. The exact same can be said for any form of exercise, Pilates included. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'll be back tomorrow for some more exercises. Take care.